Hey, the golf swing can be as natural as skipping a rock. Let me show you how to skip rocks and play your best golf.
So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Moe Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing.
So look what happens when I go to skip this golf ball or skip a rock. You'll notice that I'm taking the rock and I'm putting it into my trail hand and I'm forming the longest lever. So the longest lever of the hand is right here where you'd skip the rock from. But the other thing that's happening is that when I put my body into a tilt, that's the way you would throw a sidearm or skip a rock, you notice the arm's in somewhat of a rotation and I take the arm back and then I skip. But we need to have the conversation today about what's happening to wrist hinge, because I am not consciously hinging my wrists when I skip a rock, nor would you. You wouldn't take a rock back and go, okay, I'm going to hinge my wrists, take the arm back, and then unhinge my wrists. You wouldn't do that. There's some weight to the rock, and you would take the arm back. It's an arm motion. As you take the arm back, the wrist would have a little bit of a hinge, and then as the arm comes forward, you then skip the rock and unhinge the hands. So the motion of the wrist is really a natural motion based on arm motion, not wrist hinge. And by the way, if you're thinking of wrist hinge in your golf swing, your brain is not operating fast enough to be able to operate the wrist in a way that's going to be consistent enough during the motion of a golf swing. It's just happening too fast. So let's put the lead hand on the club and let's talk about wrist hinge during the swing. Now, we've talked about this hand position in being fully ulnar deviated. So this hand is in a full range of motion this direction when I set up. This hand, because of my tilt of my body, is in a rotated position, which is underneath the golf club, and then I bring that in. So this is in a non-rotational position. But watch what happens now when I set up to hit a shot here. You'll notice that when I take the club back, this wrist is stayed in position. There's no hinging of this wrist. I'm just turning my body into that position there. And then here's what's happening. The arm is folding like I'm skipping a rock. See that? There's the skipping motion of the trail arm. Now I'm going to combine those two motions. I'm going to have two things going on here. I'm going to have this arm going into its rotation, staying in its position. And I'm going to have this hand skipping a rock. And you'll watch, my hands will go to a perfect set wrist angle at the top. I am not thinking about wrist hinge. I am simply moving my arms in a way, proper lead arm movement, proper body movement, and skipping a rock with my trail hand, and it produces a perfect angle at the top. No conscious motion of wrist action at all. So watch this swing here, and you're going to see that exact thing occur. As I go back, you'll see the arm fold, and look at that wrist hinge right at the top, and I can swing from there. So perfectly struck golf shot there, and absolutely zero thought about my swing. What I thought about there was just making sure I got to the top of the swing, arm position like I'm going to skip a rock, stabilize the body, and swing the arms through. Very much more to do with arm motion, not hand and wrist action. So let's just review that really quickly, because a lot of people kept asking me, well, how do you hinge your wrists? How do you hinge your wrists? I don't consciously spend time thinking about wrists. I set my wrist angles or wrist positions at address, right? This one's in a full range of motion. This one's in a full range underneath. And then I take the arms back, and the arm motion, because of the weight of the club, the arm motion sets the wrists. I stabilize the body, and I once again rotate and let the arms move through, and that entire sequence of events hinges the wrist correctly and unhinges the wrist correctly. But But the other thing too is, I don't want you to think that I'm not hinging the wrists. I'm just doing it in a natural motion of the weight of the club, and the arm position is allowing the wrists just like you skip a rock. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell icon to get notified whenever I produce a new video, and also give me a thumbs up. Thanks for joining me today.